Jackie, can you share some of those things you've heard?
To speak in response to a few things that I've been hearing just now within our conversation, I'm 34 years old, and I haven't wanted to watch the news for the last 6 years, aside from last year with everything that's more in our faces, and I think that's the thing. There's a lack of education and resources within each individual community, and there's people swamped with, 2+ jobs on the south side, the southwest side, the southeast side, various places around the city of Chicago, and you have crime being reported more between the people, different apps, the Ring app, Citizen app. The people are informing each other about the crimes within their areas. And if this wasn't so present within people's faces, I don't think that there would be much being addressed, which is unfortunate. And then the coverage, the Palestinian-Israeli coverage has been more prominent, more pressing, more, in demand, that we're focusing on instead of our own country. And that's also very concerning. It's almost like a bad magic trick. I need you to look in this hand while all this other stuff is going on. So, I believe that we've come so far and then fallen so far behind. So, just like the gears of a machine, someone mentioned that, the details don't matter. The details are the most important thing. If all the parts of an engine are not working together, then it's not running. So Chicago has been run in a various amount of different ways, mostly benefiting the wealthy. I grew up in Canaryville, and I've had experiences all around the city with Ubering, with sports, with school, with family. My family is mostly here. They're everywhere. Third-generation American, and with crime, it's also unfortunate too. I get thrown in the mix often. I get pulled over often. I get mistaken for an immigrant often. I could be listening to oldies or rock or alternative hits, and then a cop comes up to my car window and is like, "Oh, what are you listening to? You speak English?" And this is a day-to-day thing, so you can go to underserved communities and see, their issues that they're having there, the deals that are being made on the corner, different levels of crime, and the people are focusing on what they have in their daily lives. So if, 3,500 migrants getting placed on a corner within half a mile of their house within 5 or 6 different schools is not enough in their faces, then what is it that they're going to be concerned about until it is too late? So I think that in regard to this sanctuary city matter and all matters, people need to be better informed, more involved with their communities, educated a little bit more. People have so many kids. Like I said, they have so many jobs. So when I think about the sanctuary city status, we wouldn't even come to this issue. We wouldn't even be addressing this issue if, our border wasn't so wide open right now. And that alone, I think, and I've said before, our forefathers wouldn't think us so naive, blatantly blind, just neglectful of our overall well-being of our country to just allow so much of an influx of, like the man had previously stated, unvetted people. We have no idea what their background is. They're getting integrated into our schools. We have no idea what kind of influence they bring to the children. Some are going to fall behind because there's a language barrier. There's just so many different issues all at once. And, we're kind of all scrambling for answers and trying to figure things out. It's hard to say, what a resolution is when we're kind of playing it by ear, we're doing everything on the fly.
So, on May 15, 2023, Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an Executive Order 2023-16. Primarily, most of this executive order tells the Black immigrants, which is referencing to those of us that live here in this city, born and raised in this city, that we have to be accepting of these conditions that are coming in upon us. We have had assets that were supposed to be earmarked for the west side and the south side. And I have inquired about that multiple times in regards to where are those funds for these communities, and then giving us the burden of having to receive people who, first of all, do not respect us. Number two, there's a lack of integration and assimilation into our communities, which is causing misunderstanding, confusion, resistance, and concerns for our own safety. When we have tags that are gang signs that are marked all around the neighborhood, when we have cars that are being driven on our taxpayers' parks that we have for jogging, and they have screech marks all across those tracks. When we have people who are here bullying our children in our own neighborhood, when we have people who are stealing from the stores, when we have people who are running red lights and do not stop, almost hit us several times on our way down to the mayor's meeting, and so much more when we want to talk about crime on this conversation. I have witnessed a lot, even with my own neighbor who has claimed or tried to claim my property on my property and tell me not to put a sign up that's on my fence on my property about not putting their products and items onto my property. Also doing work on property without permits that are required to have permits. Also, rewiring electrical from the pole out to the house. How about the gas line? Oh, I can go on, but we don't have enough time for that. But what my point is that when this has been put on us without our input, without any insight of this, don't want to hear our voices on this, don't want to allow us to vote on a referendum on this, then we have really big issues. As many of the illegal migrants are coming in here, I have not seen yet how the concerns and the interests of those who have come through here legally. I have met many people who came through the process legally, who were proud, who appreciated the efforts that they went through, and they felt glad to be an American citizen. They did not come into the United States disrespectful to other citizens. They learned the major language of the United States, which is English, and all of these seem like they just been thrown out, like they are non-existent or unimportant. And this is what's going to be causing more divisiveness, more anger, and many more other emotions that will not be positive until they get this corrected. So we need to start off first with help our taxpayer dollars, because our children of all races of this United States will be impacted when our tax dollars are being spent out to people who never inserted a dime in. Now, if we want to talk about the giving part of where people are saying what their religions are and so forth, I'm Christian and I tithe. I offer, I donate my time in food pantries. I don't ask for funding when I have done that. I required all of my children to do the same thing. So we are givers. We're not takers. And we're not here to be abused, misused, or taken for granted. So that's where my aspect of this whole conversation comes in at. And we do not stand for the sanctuary city as it is. Let's help our citizens first. Put United States citizens in the forefront and foremost. And I don't care what part of town you are from, but citizens are first that worked their tails off to be able to support this government in which we have. And if we're not the ones who's paying into that government, no illegals are paying into that government. So what government do we have at that point? We have to consider that, as well as our aldermanic parties, to be responsible and speak up on the behalf of the citizens, which there is a big lack thereof. So they need to take their roles in with the income that we're paying out to them and speak on our behalf as the citizens, and don't play us as a doormat, because many of us, as it is presumed, are supposedly broke, of the black community. We don't work. We got all these stereotypes against us, but that is far from the truth. My neighborhood itself is a good spot where we don't have all that drama and all of those things. And we can't say that things don't happen, but again, we need to be cognizant of the point that taxpayers are first here, and then when you can help yourself, then you can help others.